From the high plains of the Midwest, I bid you good morning, good afternoon, or good evening, whatever your time zone might be. My nod to the late and great Art Bell. I'm Keith Sharp.
And I'm G. Dressel.
And we welcome you to Life After Life, a paranormal webcast where we talk about the paranormal, UFOs, or the unexplained. And the biggest question of them all, what happens when we die? Stay tuned. And the guy says...
Hey, so, but in the live show, Keith, what's going to happen is when the light shines on you, you're going to do this.
Tangle it up.
Oh, God.
Okay.
Come on.
So during the live show, what's going to happen?
Whenever it's due.
This is our live event for next year. We hope some of you got... Oh, shit. Shoot.
What is happening? It's a paranormal show.
Yeah. Okay. Stop doing that. Okay.
No, like, well, it's dun, 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 dun. Look, light comes on, and you say... You just smell it because that,
Yeah, right.
And I say, I'm G. Dressel.
From the high plains of the
Yes. We can actually do it.
From the high plains of the Midwest.
I'm G. Dressel. Yeah, see? And then wouldn't that be neat?
I still want the Art Bell AI.
And everyone's like, yeah, do the clap. Can you do the clap real fast? No, like on the thing.
Oh, I can, but hang on.
Yeah.
It
What in the world? It's a paranormal show.
Woo! This is weird. Okay. What happened? It's oh no, dude.
Oh my God.
Channels, that's weird. See, because you should just be able to go like that, and then it takes you to like your sounds and everything. But I'm too afraid to
yeah, dude. Don't you
channels. That's weird. So there should be.
It disappeared.
Is there anybody here?
Yeah, there's a few. Hi, Magenta.
Magenta, it's good to see you.
Hey,
we're trying to figure out stuff here.
Since last time I saw you, I made a little stop in London, and it was so insane. I had like a 12-hour layover on New Year's Eve, and I was with 10 people, and we decided, yes.
Finally.
Okay, so then, anyways, it was nuts. You guys are crazy there. Hey, so but the light comes on, and then
not hit.
And that's when people else stand up for us, and we're like, "Hey, man!"
And then our song comes on, dun 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 dun.
And then we talk
from the high plains of the Midwest. So we bid you good morning, good afternoon. God, I don't even know that script anymore. I have to relearn that.
I can't believe you wrote that. You know,
anybody could write that.
No.
I tell you what, did you? You probably didn't even do it, but I sent him for GPT-4 for Art Bell to introduce.
Yes,
a new show.
Life.
Did you?
Yes.
Live. Did you read it?
I did. I'm sorry,
fucker.
Dude, I'm so sorry. Hey,
it is so.
Lisa, you know I'm not going to lie to you.
It is so good.
At least you know I'm not going to lie to you, though.
Well, I know.
I could have lied easily right there.
You could have.
I love you, man.
Let's see. I love you too, brother. Or son. I've been.
Magenta, is Magenta not from England?
Magenta, you're from England, right?
Delta is. Anyhow,
yeah, that was such a funny show because he was driving around and he kept. Like,
hey, guys,
couldn't hear any.
Hey, I'm just gonna say this. It was nuts because I was telling you, going through a little bit of a renaissance at the homestead and getting rid of a lot of stuff. I found this thumb drive, plugged it in. The only thing on it was the Halloween special, the first one we ever did in 2020, dude.
That was the first live we did. We did
have Larry on there.
Well, yeah, and we did probably 4 regular podcasts before that.
Hey, and that Bigfoot one has just been steadily growing for 3 years.
I know.
It's about 1,000.
Have you seen how many views on it?
It's about 1,000 views a year.
It's crazy. I'll go back and I'll look at some of the shows that only had maybe 50 views or something. Like, holy shit, there's 1,000 views on this. Which for us, that's good.
Yeah.
So, 10 views is pretty good for us. So.
Well, we're this live show we're gonna do is gonna be amazing, man. Because like we've always talked about, our guests are.
We're getting a theater. We're getting.
Yes.
Our plan is, I can tell you, Dean, military medium
for sure.
And then I need to contact him pretty soon. Probably Carl Johnson, the demonologist.
Yes. How is he doing? Have you talked to him lately?
Man, it's been months. It's been months. But last time I talked to him, he's doing fine.
Just doing his
doing
thing,
good. He's
dude.
still, I still, I'll be going around channels and boom, there he is on some haunted show.
Something just came out new recently about the Conjuring people. Lorraine Warrens, the Warrens. There's a new documentary out about them. I refused to watch it. I'm sorry, I shouldn't be like that, but I did. Sorry. Yeah. Sorry.
Yeah, well, Carl, that was his investigation, and it kind of got stolen from him. And a lot of people don't know that. They think the Warrens discovered all that. That was actually Carl Johnson's case, and his brother Keith.
Yes, students.
Yeah, and they're like, "Oh, those guys are too young to."
Yeah.
You don't want them. You want us. We're professionals.
But gone on to a fantastic career and has seen the most insane things.
Yeah, absolutely.
Experienced the most insane things.
Let's see what's going on here. Hello, everybody. I'm just going to say hi to the one person. No, I'm just using. Hey,
hi.
Hey, Garrett.
Hey,
Magenta. Good to see you. Life After Life. We always love seeing you guys. Melinda. Good to see you. And I think that's it. But we were supposed to have a guy who's going to call in today, and now
hey, from the Dark Side Pod.
Yeah, he never got back with us. So
no, we're just we'll just be honest. We're riffing right now. We're warming up. We're getting back in. We took a little hiatus, reorganized a bit.
You've done what, 4 shows since then?
Not even.
Really? So about 3.
Yeah, last show was our
since I had my health problems.
Yeah, we did.
Oh, dude, I tell you what, man, I got scared the other day because that pain kind of came back a little bit.
Get that shit out of this
I know,
house.
and then I went to I had an appointment with the pain medicine guy, whatever you call them guys, I can't remember, pain specialist or whatever.
Shaman.
Yeah, I went to a voodoo guy. Now, I'd probably get more help going to a voodoo guy than going to a regular doctor, but he went through all my MRIs. It looked through everything. He said, man, he's like, I don't see anything. He says, it does sound like it might be muscle. And so he's wanting me, he said, get this. So he goes, I can get you in probably November 27th for some trigger point, right?
Yeah.
So I'm like, well, what do I do in the meantime if it comes back?
Yeah.
I mean, I hope it doesn't, but
no, it won't.
I know, but I had a rough day Friday, man. Well, I was at work and it started kind of that same pain. And then I got home and I was like super depressed. And I thought, oh shit, it's back. And I thought maybe, it felt kidney again. I started drinking. I thought, okay, not drinking, not alcohol. Because I'm trying to piece this in my head. Okay, when you get dehydrated, your kidneys kind of hurt. And I probably only drink maybe one of these a day, and then maybe
water
of zeros.
Oh.
And then I'll have probably 230 ounces of Sprite Zero.
What about water?
I started adding water to it now. So I started just like belting down fluids, and I thought we'll see if that helps. And then plus I cut out tea is another thing that has oxalates in it, which cause kidney stones, which can cause kidney pain. And I love iced tea, that Milo tea, love it. But so I haven't had it for 2 or 3 days, and I quit. Didn't have any coffee, dude. And you know me.
I do know you.
I haven't had any coffee for a few days. Actually, longer than that, maybe.
There's water and coffee.
I know, but there's a lot of caffeine. So if any of you guys want to call in with a ghost story, that's what we're here for. Last week went pretty well for our show.
I thought it was awesome. Man.
Yeah, because we had 2 people that called in, but they had long stories, and that was good.
Yeah. And
then, of course, Drew is always great to have Drew on. He has some interesting stories.
He's so great.
And he's such a nice guy.
He really is.
Like I was telling you last week when I was going through all this pain stuff, man, he kept checking on me.
Yeah. He
sending me emails. Hey, man, how you doing?
Dean,
so, Dean did the same thing. In fact, Dean could have been the reason it's gone because
the timing on that.
Well, because he was telling, he goes, so I'm laying in bed, right? I've been off work a month. And I can't, if I get up, I start hurting. I've got somebody. We should have known to be Magenta. But anyway, hang on just a minute, Magenta. I'm going to finish this story. And Dean said, let me try something. He goes, let me remotely try to heal whatever's going on. And I said, okay. I said, I'm willing to anything. And you know me, I'm the paranormal guy. I totally believe in it. So he does like a scan. And first he goes, what the hell did you do to your back? Because it looks like you've been in an accident. And I was like, well, I mean, I've been in a couple of car accidents where, they weren't horrible.
Yeah.
That I would think my back was that messed up. But then he kept working on it. And then it stopped hurting. It started going away on Sunday night. Monday is completely gone. And this is 2 months later.
Yeah.
And he sends me a thing, goes, "How's your pain?" I said, "I don't have any right now." He goes, "Good, I worked on you today." Well, and I said, "Did you work on me any last night?" I said, "Because it started diminishing last night."
He started working.
Yeah, well, just wondering.
Well, here was the.
Oh, we've lost 2 people already.
Here was the nuts. Here was the nuts thing, though.
What
is that Monday when he checked on you? He had hit me up first and said,
He
said, "Hey,
I
man,"
asked him about that.
He said, "How's Keith? Is everything okay? I'm getting a weird vibe." And I said, "Dang, it's crazy. He's been out with his, this health stuff. His back is bothering him. You might hit him up or whatever."
Oh, okay, that makes sense now. Because when you first told me that, I thought you meant he was asking about I had a weird vibe because now I'm not hurting anymore, and he'd been working on me. So you're saying that's before that?
Yeah.
Okay, because I asked him, I was like, "What does that mean?"
Yeah. No,
I go, "Did you?" Again, in fact, I even sent him a text not too long ago.
It was like, that's the craziest thing.
I told him, I was like, "Dean," I said, "So you said you got a weird vibe from me or something?" He's like, and he kind of, "What?" So
yeah, no, it was before.
Okay, I thought you meant
that was the weird thing.
Because that's when I told you. Remember when I said, "Hey, man, my pain's gone." You go, "Yeah, Dean sent me a thing asking you. Your ear is weird," but I guess you meant
yes.
I thought you would have told me that like months ago.
No, I think that you guys had talked, and that was like a week had gone by. He worked on you, and then that following week it went away. Like that's nuts. Dude.
I believe in that stuff, so I mean, it's possible, right?
Well, we get vibes from people on this show all the time. We talk about
absolutely. It. So I think Dean. I was like, he's
amazing. Man.
He sent me a text the other day. He's like, "Hey, I'm still working on you."
He's so great.
I said, "Thank you so much." I said, because I told him, I said, "Man, I had a twitch of pain the other day." All right, Magenta, we will get you on. So Magenta has a ghost story for us, I hope.
What's up?
Hello.
Hello, Magenta. How are you?
That sounds like Australian. You need to get it right.
Yeah. Do your Liverpool.
Okay. Liverpool's more like that, you see. Liverpool, they go very high when they say things and come back down.
What do you say about like if you have to park the car?
Oh, then I love the guys from London that sound like, okay, it would be equal to our Bronx guys. Guy go, "Yeah, so you know what? He's got to come in. He come into the
That's better. That's better.
Yeah,
what are you doing?
Yeah, hey, so I got a point, right? So we had a point together.
Legend.
Yeah. So you know.
Good.
Yeah.
That's
So
good.
what do you call that? That accent?
Cockney.
Yeah. So is that a certain part from London where they're from, or England?
England, they talk in different accents. You got like Birmingham, how you do, and then you got all right, London, and Liverpool is like they like use how you doing, and then you got Somerset, which is like Farmer Giles, and Newcastle. No, don't do that, man. You've got all different accents.
That's so.
It sounds like Ozzy.
Well, as long as I don't look like him. So I've got quite a few stories. I don't know whether I'll just go with a couple.
Go for it.
I'll cut you off when I get bored. So.
Well, that'll be about in 30 seconds.
I'm you know how we joke all the time.
So my mum, I think, was always quite intuitive. She told me a story that when she first met my dad, they lived in a little place called Beckington that Jane Seymour lived. You know, Jane Seymour, King Henry,
beautiful.
One of the wives. And it was a very old little cottage, and there was like a window quite high up, and they used to pay their tolls there. So they would ride horses and pay their tolls and to pay the wool. It was a wool factory area. And my mum often would see a lady spinning the wool with the old spindle. And the fruit would always be on the floor the next morning. And the toilet roll, oddly enough, would be draped around downstairs all the way over. And they decided to renovate a little bit. And they took the fireplace back, and it went back to Edwardian, Georgian. And it was a priest's hole in the end. They found a priest's hole where they used to obviously keep the priest safe if anything was going on. And they couldn't understand this toilet roll going off. So one day my dad and his friend, they actually put sellotape around the toilet roll and, really bodged it in because they were getting a new bathroom anyway, and said that can't come off. Anyway, next day it was sprawled all around the living room, under the chair, over the table, and the fruit again on the floor. Now they did work out that the fruit was a mouse. That was what, you know, taking the fruit off the bowl, but they couldn't understand about the toilet roll. Anyway, they moved from there, but the people that had it got a priest in and blessed it because they, you know, they were experiencing things as well. And then years later, when my parents bought a pub, one of our dogs had an operation and it didn't go right. And the dog passed, and my mum seen the spirit of the dog. And then going to me, which I think I've oh my God, I mean, I could be here all day. So when I was single by myself, I rented a property in Somerset. It was just a normal 3-bedroom house, you know, kitchen, bathroom was downstairs. Anyway, everything was fine to start off with. And I had to rescue greyhounds that I rescued. And everything was fine. They weren't sort of, you know, looking around or anything like that. And then all of a sudden, things started happening. And this is going to sound absolutely crazy, but I swear down, this is what happened. I mean, so many things. First of all, the boiler and the fridge freezer would always go wrong. So I'd have to ring up my landlord and say, the boiler's not working. And his dad dealt in that. He retired, but he was a gas engineer. So he had to keep making it right, coming up, sorting it out. The fridge freezer, so I would take it, you know, I'd get an electrician in, there's nothing wrong with it when it's not working. So, right, okay, I'll buy a new one, buy a new fridge freezer. Next 18 days, 20 days, less than a month, freezer would stop.
Damn.
And I think the most terrifying, and this is going to sound crazy, I felt safe in that house, like no one was going to rob me and burgle me, you know, a girl by myself. But I did have really strange experiences, and they wouldn't be all the time. They would be maybe once every couple of months. When I was in the master bedroom, which is where I slept, and I think the house was probably 1950s, there was a Roman fort near there, so I don't know whether that had anything to do with it. But I would wake up with the hairs of my arms, a cold, icy feeling, a vibe. And I remember distinctly one evening, I was, you know what you're like when you're propped up in bed, you got the pillow by you. I was on Facebook,
Yeah.
and a hand grabbed the back of my head.
Oh shit.
I'll never forget it for the rest
Oh,
of my
hell no.
life. I swear to you, the hands were open, you know, like and a male voice said, "What time do you call this?" I froze. I thought I was going to have a heart attack. I thought, I'm too scared to look around. There's somebody in my house. I've not got a knife or anything to defend myself. I've obviously been burgled. And I kind of slid down the bed and pulled the pull cord that was by my bed. And then I flipped round onto my stomach to wait for my fate, this burglar. There was nothing there. I wasn't asleep. I wasn't daydreaming. There was nothing there.
See, that's terrifying.
I've never experienced anything like that. So I thought, well, the burglar must be here. So
Yeah.
I remember getting out of my bed. I'm by myself, mind. It's about 1:30 in the morning, or about sort of this time. And I thought, what can I use to defend myself? The only thing I've got in my bedroom is a deodorant. So I grabbed the deodorant can, whacked the top off. Obviously, there's nothing in my room. The bed was very low. No one could get underneath there. So I thought that this is my fate. There's a murderer. There's a killer in there. And I went out to the hallway because I was just, I didn't want to leave that room, but I'm like, my dogs, are they going to try and take my dogs? Because I'm a huge animal lover.
Yeah.
I'm telling you, I checked every room in that house. The dogs were fast asleep downstairs in their beds. There was no window open. There was no door open. There was nothing there. Anyway, I thought there's something here because, as you know, I'm a psychic and intuitive. So I would say, if there's someone there, I want you to throw like a stone noise onto my radiator. 1 tap for yes, 2 taps for no. And I, you know, this is not the same day, obviously. Is there anyone here? Tap. Do you used to live here? Tap. Then another night, I used to have really bad dreams there as well, where you know what, sometimes when you think I don't know if you've both had it, when you're half asleep but you feel awake, you're like, wake up, it's surreal.
Yeah.
And I was being choked by that pull cord going around my neck. Next day, I didn't even realize. Next day, I look in the mirror. There's a great rope mark around my neck.
Oh my God!
So that really bothered me. And I'm like saying that I know it's your house. Please don't. You know, I'm only renting. I'm not going to do anything. You know, I know it's your house. Please leave me alone. You know, I'm a nice person. Another night, I woke up, early hours of the morning. I wanted a wee. I'm not going to lie. And I lie on the side.
We all do.
Yeah, and there's this monk there. This monk is there by the old fireplace. He's looking out the window. He's not looking at me. So I lie on my side, which I do, and I'm looking at this monk, and how I could describe it is it's grey. He had a small beard. He had one of the is it called a habit, you know, but the hood was down, and it was like a rope around the waist. All in brown, but the face was kind of greyish, and he's looking out the window. Now I know I'm near a Roman fort. Perhaps there was a church, so I don't know. And I'm looking at him, and he's looking out the window, and I'm like, I'm awake now. It's been a minute. There's a monk there, so I go down to grab my phone to take a picture. Go up, he's gone. Another time I saw an old woman and man, and I asked my next door neighbour that had been there years, I said, I'm going to describe two people to you. The guy's bald with a little bit of grey hair at the sides. The glasses are rimmed. They are gold, square. He's got blue eyes. The woman's got, you know, the old woman, I call it haircut, permed grey. Oh, that's Beryl and John that used to live there. Wow. I said, what, in this house? They're like, yeah, they passed on. They went to a nursing home when they got really ill and passed on. So I'm like, well, I've seen these people. And my friend said, next door, I'm not surprised. You know, they've been there for many years. So I'm like, okay, I've got a name of both of them. Then the freezer goes again, obviously, you know, and I have to get another freezer. And a friend of mine, Adriana, came over. And we had a nice evening chatting, blah, blah, blah. That person went to the toilet, locked the door in the downstairs toilet. And I was in the kitchen, just washing up, you know, the cups. We had a cup of tea. And that person came out there white as a sheet. And I said, are you okay? They said, well, I thought it was you for a minute playing a joke, but I realised that I had locked the door. I said, what do you mean? She said, I was pushed in the bathroom. I was stood there just waiting to, you know, turn around and sit down on the toilet. And something pushed my lower back with quite a jolt. She said, I'm not being funny, but I can't come in here. I'm absolutely petrified. I can't. And then I had a boyfriend who was quite a hard dude, you know, nothing fazed him. And he always said, I wouldn't sleep alone in your house if you paid me. He wouldn't sleep over. He said every time he came in, he felt like all the energy was gone from him. Now, I didn't feel like that. But he said that he felt like that. So the next minute in the bathroom, the hose, the house is waterlogged. You know, I'm there with towels and a mop trying to get the stop tap to turn it off. A week later, the other side goes. So I ring my landlord and said, we got a problem here. And he said he went to get a new hose, and the bloke said that's impossible. They both can't rip off like that. You know, it didn't unscrew. It was ripped off. Only you can rip it off forcefully. And you know, if you've got equipment and things, twist things and spanner.
Sounds like a ghost problem.
Yeah.
At what point did you not call a priest?
Do you think that it's...
But I think it's because, no, I'm just going to say, I think it's because, Magenta, you're open, you're psychic.
Mm-hmm.
You're going to have that stuff the rest of your life probably. And just...
Well, I don't in the property that I'm in now, that's been sorted. I made sure that there's nothing in here and there's not. And And with that property, I mean, I know what you're saying. Why didn't I go? I can't explain it. It was like I felt safe there, even though these were happening. I mean, there wasn't any poltergeist. There wasn't anyone sort of, sort of slashing me. It was, I think it was more the family that were there that kept coming in and looking. So one day I got my phone. I remember this. It was the daytime. I turned the telly off and I thought, right, let me see if I can record something. So I said the usual stupid thing, is there anyone here? And I pressed play and recorded it. And what came back, I couldn't get all of it, but it said, we're here to change the times of things. And then it went a bit, I couldn't understand what the rest said. So I didn't really know what that was about.
Change the time of things?
We've come here to change the times of things.
That sounds like time travelers.
I have no idea.
Well, maybe they're stuck between dimensions.
Yeah, could be.
It could be.
So then my niece saw somebody looking out of the window before she came to knock on the door, and I was obviously downstairs. There's quite a few things that happen. Then it would go quiet for a while, and then it would start again. As
So
I
you
said,
it wasn't the same spirit. These were different spirits, right? Because one goes from pushing to, or do you think it was the same spirit? Like, were you freaked out when it was the old lady and the man, or were they just in passing?
yeah, they were just sort
Like
of.
in the monk?
The monk seemed calm. He wasn't looking at me.
So
And
different.
I thought no one's gonna believe me. I'm wide awake. I'm not dreaming. Hello, I'm awake.
Right.
And I'm just like, no, I'm not a sleepwalker. I'm not one that hallucinates. I don't sort of do anything like that. No problem with me sleeping. And I used to get quite a few bad nightmares about a spirit trying to get inside me. And I used to scream out, Archangel Michael, protect me, get this out of me. I could physically feel someone trying to get inside me. And then I started, really going, Archangel Michael, protect me. And I'd imagine my angels around the bed with their wings so no one can get in. That helped a lot.
Did it make them go away? I mean, at that time?
Yeah, it helped the night. Yeah, it helped me feeling that someone was going to try and come in and attack me. Yeah, 100%.
Positive and negative energies colliding.
Yeah, but I could actually feel them trying to get inside me. It was a strange experience. Like you've been slightly punched in the chest a bit. So I'm like, Archangel Michael, get this out of me, get this out of me. You're not coming in me. And then it would go. And
I mean,
then
it's
I met
like,
my now
well, it's
husband.
like, I'm sorry, what?
Sorry. And then I met my now husband, and we're going to get a place together. Anyway, so the house was on the market, and the guy that he actually bought the house because I was renting at the time. And his name's Steve. I used to know him. He used to drink at my parents' pub, so I know him quite well. And I said to him, look, Steve, I'm not being funny, but this place is a bit mad. It's haunted. I'm telling you, mate. Are you sure you want to buy this house? Because I know Steve, and I want the best for him. And he said, oh, that don't worry me. Things like that. That don't worry me. Anyway, I ordered something that didn't come on time through eBay, and I said, look, Steve, when it comes, just give me a text, and I'll pop round and get it. He's like, yeah, no problem. So about 4 days later, I get a text. I go round and collect my item, thanking him and saying, I appreciate that. And I said, have you noticed anything then now you're in? He said, oh yeah. He said, there's a big black mass in the master bedroom where I saw the monk.
Oh God.
Oh.
He said, and the other day, because I'm converting, I'm doing stuff with the house, I'm changing it. He said, an old lady walked past me through the wall. Me and my cat, were looking and went, what? And I said, and that don't bother you? He's like, nah. But he said, you weren't lying. There was something there for sure. I've just seen it. And I haven't been here long, about 4 days, 5 days. So it's not just me that experienced that. That's what I'm trying to say.
Well, it's crazy when you were describing that you felt like there was a negative spirit trying to, like, you could physically feel it getting us, because it's like when you've experienced like a really traumatic loss, right? Like of somebody, like a loved one, you can literally feel that loss, like in the moment, even the next day. It's basically the same thing. It's energy, right? Like leaving you, and then like, so that would be terrifying, feeling like something's trying to infiltrate your soul.
But it was different because when my mum passed away, that afternoon, I remember going into my mum and dad's bedroom and looking out the window, looking at the fields, just stepping away, just giving myself a minute, trying to not come to terms with things, but I just needed a cigarette, a cup of tea, and I just needed to be by myself. People were coming in the house. And I did feel my mum put her arms around me from the back, only for about 5 seconds, and then it went again.
That's like
that would drive me insane. I think.
Well, do you remember after Nate passed away and we had that experience?
Well, tell everybody who Nate is.
Oh, it's my twin brother. Yeah, we had this crazy like paranormal type of event in the house that evening with all the lights, and it was kind of around Christmas time, so it was nuts. But I mean, it's the same thing. That's fleeting though, because the spirit's hopefully moving on, right? Magenta, is that why it's only for a short period of time that we experience that, you think?
Well, it's my belief that we all have many lives, so I do believe in reincarnation. And when you pass, you haven't got the murderers, the animal abusers, the crap. You go to like another world that we can't see, like Spain. We know it's over that way, but we can't see it. And you meet up with family and friends and meet new people, and then after a while you do reincarnate. But yes, they do pop in occasionally to see us.
What made you think of Spain?
I don't know, that just came into my head.
Okay. I went to Spain like 3 weeks after my brother died, and I'm going back to Spain. That's why I was asking.
Okay.
It's just such a random place. Well, I don't know. You're in England, I guess.
Yeah, I don't know. I would say the nearest country is obviously France.
It was like Spain.
Yeah, I don't know why that came out of my mouth. Another time, like little things happened. So me and my husband went for a meal, and it was nice. And the guy came round, meal okay. We're like, yeah, it's lovely. He said, do you want a dessert board? I'm like, absolutely. If it's fun and fattening, I'm in. And I said,
1000%.
I said, I'm not being funny. I don't think I'm an odd character, but is this place haunted? My husband's, oh, shut up. I'm like, no, I'm gonna. And he said, well, actually, you're sat underneath the poltergeist. My husband said, pardon? Because my husband believes me and has seen a few things, but he's like, man's man, I'll be all right, sort of thing. And the landlord said, yes, where you're sitting above you is the living room, the lounge. And that's where the poltergeist is. So, yes, you are picking up that there's something here. Yeah.
So, Magenta, what's the difference between like poltergeist and a ghost? Because I heard like poltergeist, isn't that from someone in the house is causing that energy to manifest?
Well, there's so many different things. You can get portholes. Poltergeist usually haunt and stay longer than maybe a spirit that's just popping in to see you. They're more grounded in that area.
Gotcha.
It could be a house. It could be the land that the house was built on. They're not. It's almost like they're not rested. Something's
it's like a cavity.
Happened. Yeah.
Oh, that's nuts.
And then another time we went to an old post office, and you pay to look around it, and it was back, about 400 years ago. It was quite quiet. I remember eating again. We had lunch and we walked across the road. Me and my husband, and paid the money to look in, and it was like really beautiful, like old stone floors, and used to be a post office, and that's where they kept the sheep and the farmyard animals, and it was really small and quaint, and the windy stairs that you go up. Anyway, everything was fine. I was really enjoying looking around, like, oh my God, people used to live like this, and the history. And then in one bedroom, there was only 3 bedrooms, I think. One of the bedrooms, it was me and my husband there, and I was camcording it to take a video of it, to put on my Facebook.
Right.
Anyway, I'm recording, and I said to my husband before I press record, I don't like the area over there by the window. This part of the bedroom's fine. Walked over there, didn't like it. Anyway, recorded it. I'm like, right, we'll go to the other room now and check that out. Playing back the video, a woman's voice distinctly says, leave. Not in a leave in a nasty way, just leave.
Wow.
Sounds familiar.
Yeah, I've heard that before.
Yeah.
So I was like, didn't hear it at the time, had no idea.
Wow.
So yeah, little. I'll get off now and let somebody else come on. But
Hey,
Okay.
And then do you follow us on Facebook?
I am on your Facebook. Yeah.
Hey, if you have any videos or anything, send them over at some point.
I haven't got a lot, to be honest with you now, because that was years ago. I might have a couple of pictures.
Well, if you
I'm
collect
not
some,
sure.
collect some for us.
Yeah, you know, like sometimes you get a picture on your old mobile that you had like 10 years ago, and now
Right.
you've got a new one and it couldn't transfer it over and things like that. But one thing about, you know, that house, that haunted house I forgot to bring up, that Steve moved into, my friend. I might have the video somewhere. I did an experiment the night I was going to leave. It was December the 11th, around that time, so it's near my birthday. I shook out my bed to make sure it wasn't dust. And I recorded on my phone, orbs were going up, across, left, right, down, big ones, smaller ones. I put it on night camera on my phone. And you know, you can say, oh, you know, it's dust. I shook that to make sure I wasn't getting dust. You know, I was trying to debunk it, to be honest with you guys.
Mm-hmm.
And no, these orbs were shooting from the floor up and side to side. And the night before we left, no, it wasn't. It was a week before we left. I was downstairs. My husband was up in bed. And I saw this purple flash. And I thought, thunder. So I go into the dining room area, which is concreted, and on top of there's laminate flooring. And a bulb unscrewed itself, fell on the floor but didn't break. You know the Christmas lights, you press them ting ting. They're like oval shaped.
Mm-hmm.
There's 3 of them. And one of them came out and smashed on the floor. Not smashed on the floor, it came out and fell on the floor. And my husband's mate is an electrician. And he said, I'll come and have a look. So I was worried about the fuse boxes. Because my husband's like, well, none of the fuses are out. He said, that's impossible. We were like, what do you mean? He said, a light, because all the rest of the light was it. He said, a light bulb doesn't unscrew itself.
It does at this house.
Yeah. And he said, and that would have shattered into thousands of pieces on the floor because it's laminate flooring. You know, if you've got an egg on the top of your roof and you throw it down, it's going to smash.
Right.
It's supernatural.
So,
Yep.
yeah.
Yep. Well, thanks for your stories, Magenta. We appreciate
You're welcome. It's
stopping
lovely
by,
to talk
and
to
it's
you.
good to hear from you again.
Have a cup of tea for us.
Yes,
I will do. That's what you should have, not cold tea. Who has cold tea?
I know. I like hot tea. I like spicy
Yeah.
hot tea.
No, just normal PG tips, something like that. Some milk, a tea.
Okay.
Ugh, God.
And what do you think about the Delphi murders? Because I still stand by.
Shit.
I said there's
It's-
a
She had to
preacher.
do it, didn't she?
Oh man, it's going crazy.
Remember,
Yeah.
I said there's a preacher. Remember, I got the name Cody.
Yeah,
Now,
yeah.
Cody doesn't have to be the uncle. There's many names with Cody.
Right.
I got Lindy. I got Pixels. Someone taking a picture. Pixels, and I always said a preacher.
Well, they're thinking of something ritualistic for sure.
Excuse
So
me.
that's
Yeah,
what
those
it's
were
starting to
cold.
sound like. I've talked to some people who got a hold of the crime scene photos, and it's pretty much what they described. The sticks look like they're purposely placed on the bodies.
Mhm.
So
I
yeah.
went on Sleuth Intuition's channel probably about 4 years ago,
Mhm.
and
Yeah.
I said the name Cody. I said it's a preacher or someone that's to do with a church or lives around a church, something to do with the church. And
So
he's
do you
like,
think Richard
okay,
Allen's guilty at all, or do you think they got the wrong guy?
I think they've got the wrong guy.
Oh my God, that'd be so horrible. Can you imagine?
Could he have seen it as he's walking? Possibly. I think there was more than one involved.
Yeah,
People,
I do too. I do too.
I do not believe that the girls were killed there.
Oh,
100%. I do not believe that. I think they were taken somewhere and then they were placed there. Whether that was to look like it was Odinism, or, you know, like the smiley face killer, you would live with smiley face.
Yeah.
Are they trying to make it look like something like that? I think there's a lot of corruption there. I think
absolutely. Yeah.
I think there's definitely more than one. And yes, I believe that they were killed. They weren't killed there and then. 100% not.
well, we'll definitely be doing another update whenever some more news comes out. Because
Yeah.
it will be.
Yeah, we just did a show a couple of weeks ago on it. I don't know if you
Okay.
watched it or not,
It
but
was,
it was a pretty good show.
uh,
All right, Magenta, you have a great
Thank
night.
you.
Thank you
You
for
take
calling.
care, guys.
You
Good
too.
night.
Thanks for calling in.
Bye.
All right, bye-bye.
all the way from freaking England, dude.
I know.
Long
How
time
about that?
going. Long time going.
It's funny because every time I do British, she always goes, sounds like
I
you're
know,
Australian.
I know.
She said it the last time, right?
Hey, can I?
I'll tell you a ghost story
Okay,
that I've
okay.
never told anybody. And then you can tell if you're
Really?
there.
Okay.
Yeah, but this isn't like super spooky or anything, but it was just kind of weird. So I was about 7 years old. We was over at my uncle's house. And I think it was a town near Tulsa. And we were upstairs in one of the rooms and we were putting a puzzle together. And it was me, I think my sister, maybe another cousin or two or something like that. And so we almost had this puzzle completely put together. And then they hollered, or that's so Oklahoma, they hollered. Someone called, hey, it's time for dinner, right? So we went downstairs. Everybody was at the table. So us wanting to finish the puzzle, we hurried and, got through our dinner. We go upstairs and the puzzle pieces were scattered everywhere. Yeah, that's one story I never told
No
you.
animals.
No. So just one of those.
Why?
Because I kept thinking it was one of my cousins, but at the same time, we all left together to go downstairs.
And did you all come back together?
Yeah.
And what did they say?
Everybody freaked out,
Did the word ghost come up?
Yeah, we did.
What did you guys talk about?
We just said
It had to be a freaking
It has to
ghost.
have been a ghost because we were all downstairs together and we come back upstairs and the puzzle pieces are.
See, it's so interesting to
messed
me
up.
because, like, even with Magenta, and we've done enough of these shows to where it's like you get a pick thrown at your head, or you get pushed in the back while you're in the bathroom. But then you also have like grandma and grandpa's walking through the walls. You have, you know what I mean? You have light bulbs unscrewing and falling, but not breaking. Like, there's just these diverse experiences that people have. It's just so interesting, right? It's like, what is it? Because it can't be it can't be residual energy. I guess it could. I mean,
It could be, but usually
that's a ton of energy in one
you would
spot.
see that all the time, and it would be the same thing. Like that classic thing we always talk about, where somebody sees a woman walking down the stairs every morning at 3 o'clock in the morning, right? So it's a residual energy of someone that probably lived there at that time, and that's just their vision of their ghost walking up down the stairs. Not intelligent. I mean,
that's what I'm saying.
Now, if you call it out to it and it actually looks at you or speaks
messes
to
up
you,
your
then
puzzle pieces,
messes up your puzzle pieces. Yeah,
that's what I'm saying.
When it can get physical, then yeah.
And you use the word intelligent, right? Like it's deciding. It's making a decision.
Right. It's an intelligent haunting. If you get if you get a spirit where you see like a kid walking through the wall or something like that,
right,
and you see it more than once, and they don't interact with you, they don't,
Right.
like when she was saying knock, which I don't think she ever finished that. She didn't say if that knocked back or not, or did she?
No, I don't think she did.
Yeah. But yeah, so if you see like a kid going through, then you got
Yeah.
The residual haunting is if it's not interacting with you. But go ahead. You were going to say something.
No. Well, I was gonna talk about aliens for a second. Hi, Randy.
Hey, Bubba Randy. Good to see you, man.
Man, since day one, supporter.
Well, yeah, he's my high school
He's
buddy.
the best.
Yeah. Known him for a long time.
Okay, so are you driving, Randy?
Are you in a truck?
Because, okay, buckle up for this. And Keith, during this theory, I'm going to need you not to read the chat room and to really, because this gets kind of far out, but I think it makes really good sense.
Okay.
And it could solve all UFO questions.
Oh, call your friends. Tell them to tune in.
Well, I mean, what a lot of people don't know is that for a long time, we solved some of the most incredible cases. We solved Black Dahlia.
Did
we solved Missy Beavers.
No,
we solved.
He's lying.
No, but remember we would always be like, oh, we know what happened to Bigfoot.
Yeah.
Right. Okay. So here we go.
But we used to joke about that all the time.
Here's what aliens are.
Okay.
They're advanced humans. We've talked about this before.
Right.
They're cyborgs. They're half human with obviously neuroaugmentation. At that level has evolved, right, with AI. So what's happening is last episode we talked about that we are at NASA. They are going to shoot a robot into space and land it on the moon.
Okay.
From NASA, they are going to shoot lasers into the dust. This robot is, and it's going to make it into brick-like substance, right?
Right.
From there, they are going to build landing pads. Okay.
Now, is this a theory? Or
no, this is happening. This
okay.
is actually happening because for the longest time, you've heard all these people say, oh, well, why haven't we been back to the moon? And guilty as charged. I've said that. Oh, why don't we just go back to the moon? Why don't we go chill on the moon? Well, NASA wanted to spend their money a little bit better and go to Mars. Okay. And here's the other thing. They would have to bring up bricks all over and over again. All the things you need to build on the moon. The fuel alone would be so expensive.
Yeah.
Right. These missions are very expensive.
And we finance these missions, by the way.
Exactly. So what's going to happen is they're going to shoot one little robot up there, maybe multiple robots. They're going to build a landing pad. My theory is that once they build that landing pad and get more robots up there, they're going to start building a lot of landing pads. And that's just going to be a way for us to, in the future, go even further into space, right? When we have the capabilities. I think what happens is in the future, through AI and through all this amazing technology, we are going to be able to interstellar travel. I think that's going to happen.
You think so?
I do. And what we're seeing in the sky, that's just advanced humans coming back with the technology to keep us from annihilating ourselves, right? It's like the butterfly effect. Have you ever seen that movie?
No.
Okay, the butterfly effect is like it's kind of like the string theory. You can make
something change
the course of
history.
Right, which is always kind of the thing with time travel.
Right.
You don't want to go mess. You saw it in Back to the Future. You don't want to mess anything up, right? And it's all these weird marriages and shit. If you haven't seen Back to the Future, go watch it. But yeah, so that's why they would be coming back, because to answer the question, why are aliens coming here? What for? Why would aliens come here?
Well, John Lear said, and it scared a lot of people, that aliens say that we are containers that are full of a soul. We're a container that holds a soul. So in other words, he's saying they're our creator. And so now John passed away. He was with Bob Lazar.
Yes.
Bob took him, John Lear, when they were testing the UFO flights every Wednesday night or whatever. And John was one of the guys with him. But he said that's what the aliens say, that you're just containers filled with a soul.
And souls are valuable.
Yeah. Absolutely.
Well, even to
but it scares people when you say that.
Well, think about this. Okay. Think about what people that have seen aliens, or even in common, like, what's out there in art and on cartoons. What do aliens look like? Tiny things with big eyes, right?
Yeah.
Or big, tall, skinny things with big eyes and like rubbery type skin and all this stuff. Like, our human bodies wouldn't be equipped for your interstellar travel, right?
No, not at all.
But something with big eyes that are black, right? Because that's another thing. Like our eyes would burn out. We wouldn't be able to. We'd be freaking out.
Right.
So that's all I'm saying. And
our body would explode.
Our body would explode. It would have to be small. It have to be. You have to build these things. And so that's all I'm saying. And if John Lear is right, and we are, that is fascinating, because what that would mean is that these advanced humanoids, this is what I'm calling them, that go and because look at the Kardashians. Look at the Kardashians now compared to when they were, right? So to think that like humans are already changing the way they look, they're changing the way their bodies act for performance. We're doing that. There's a reason why we study astronauts and what they're eating and their diets and dissecting their poop when they get back. Is because we want to be able to, for the human body to be able to perform, for long periods of time in other places like Mars, if that needs to happen, right? So that's why they're looking at bone density and all these types of things. So you look at the Kardashians, they have changed the way they look 100%, undoubtedly. Right. So it's not far-fetched to think that in the future that these humanoids are changing the way they look to have the ability to come back, and that they wouldn't have a soul by that point, right? And isn't that not selling your soul to the devil?
Oh man,
because you would give up your soul to live for eternity as this thing. So
yeah, I see what you're saying.
Your soul would become important.
Well, they're talking about making a heart that never stops too.
What's that?
They're
oh yes.
About making a heart that would never get clogged, arteries would never get clogged. It keeps keep beating. Of course, then but your brain is controlling all that. I mean, you'd have to make humanoid some type of weird brain, right?
Well, here's the thing: is we understand very little about the human brain.
That's true.
We understand very little about the human brain, like consciousness. We can't even define.
Would you want to be immortal?
No, hell no.
I know I wouldn't either.
I'm good, dog. I want to live in my time. I want to live in my time, and I want to make the most of it. Like, because I have beliefs of spirituality, right?
Mm-hmm.
And so, and immortal doesn't play into my beliefs. It's kind of interesting. I told you earlier, I'll say it out loud. I think we're at a point. I told you earlier, I think that me and Cass are going through a renaissance, right? And I told you all about how she's finding herself in her work. And, we're going to Mexico tomorrow. How cool is that? I told her today. I said, you started something and now it's taking you to a different country. That's cool. But like, she's been, and for a long time, she's gone down this Native American, this native kind of ideology, right? And a lot of that has to do with body, soul, land, and just thinking of like things differently. We're not objectifying everything. And it's a lot about the spirit. And so I do think it's interesting that we know very little about the brain, just like we know very little about the ocean, man. There are parts of this ocean where they think that aliens are.
That they have a whole habitat there.
Yeah.
But I mean, you've heard about those sightings where they're coming out of the ocean.
A lot.
Or, well, I mean,
encounters.
Think about Commander Favor. That thing was right above the ocean, then it went under.
Mm-hmm.
So,
well, how weird is it? Like when she was talking about the orbs,
but wouldn't we have found? I mean, with submarines, wouldn't they have ran into them? Really?
No way.
I know the ocean's so vast, but
yeah,
wouldn't one sub, out of all the?
No way.
You don't think so?
It's so vast.
I know.
And the other thing is
maybe they have technology too. If they heard a sub, they'd know to move or something.
100%.
But do you think there's a alien bases? Like, I mean, a structure.
I think I don't know if it's a structure. I think it's definitely a place to lay low, be here for an extended period of time, knowing that we're not going to be able to go down there. Like, again, humans aren't capable of being in that kind of pressure. You get that deep in water.
Yeah.
I mean, look at what happened with that Titanic thing recently. The pressure.
Yeah.
The underwater submarine.
Yeah.
So like even our technology when it comes to exploring the depths of the ocean isn't even there yet. So that's what I'm saying is like there's this weird thing, like as we learn more about what's happening really in the environment and the solar system, what's crazy is they just got this little package back, a little parachute was like all the way down in like the Utah desert, and it had that it had like 8 ounces of comet dust on there. 8 ounces. They've never been able to do that.
Say what?
They landed that motherfucker on a comet. They landed a robot on a comet like 6 years
Really?
ago, and it was like scooped it up, put it in a capsule, fucking flew that shit back, and then parachuted down. So what? Why would we want to explore a comet? Because it's interstellar. It is moving from a different time.
Right.
And so, like, maybe it tells us about where we came from. Now, that will be nuts.
Yeah.
Like, is that information that we can handle? Yeah, it's information we need to handle. Like,
I think we can. Do you think that we're getting close to, like, they're having the congressional hearings with the whistleblower, Commander Favor,
Yes.
and I can't remember the other two guys' names. But do you think we're going to get any further than that? Or do you think they're going to squash this thing?
no, I think that, like, numbers are important, right? And, like, the number of people that are interested and are talking about it, the fact that they're in Congress and, like, the age of social media, I mean, I think that we really do start to see some progress. And what I was going to say, just because we talked about social media, when she was talking about the orbs, she was like, big ones, the small ones, they go all the over the place, come back into one. I was like, damn, that sounds a lot like the UFOs at Fukushima, a power plant, right? Going fucking nuts and then coming back into one.
Are they? Here's something else we got to kind of think about too. Are they the same orbs we're seeing in the house, in the hauntings? They look the same to me.
They look
because I remember, I don't know if I shared this with everybody, but when I was in my living room, it was late at night. Katie was laying down on the couch, and I saw out of the side of my eye a bright light, and it was an orb, and it was in the corner of the house, and then it broke into two orbs, and then it went through the ceiling. Now, in some of the video I see of what they're calling UFOs, to me, sometimes look like orbs. Some look like crafts, but some look like orbs.
Intelligent orbs. And that's what.
So is that all it is? It's coming, a haunting. Maybe it's just actually some.
Check this.
Good.
I've said this before on this show.
Check this
out. Let's get down to the bottom of this.
Yeah, talking.
Okay, I told you when I was down in Marfa, Texas, that time working with the Quades, I saw the Marfa lights.
Right.
Thought somebody was camping out in the middle of the desert. What it is it's a collection of energy, right? Right. So obviously, like, to me, when these things are looking like orbs and they're UFOs, it's some sort of energy because it's creating the same thing, and it's this environment of energy. And so, is that like? Whenever, I think what you're saying is, like, whenever you have like a sighting, like is this what you're saying? A sighting, there's UFOs present, like that's creating that energy that gives.
Well, no, I'm saying is the orb we see in the house the same as the UFO that we're seeing? Is it the same thing?
Well, because like
it just went through the, because when you talk about, you see these orbs that are making all these crazy movements in a house, right?
Yes.
Of course, some of it's dust.
In the video with Dylan,
some of them are orbs.
In the video with Dylan,
right?
You have a video with Dylan.
Oh, I have a great video. Yeah, God, I wish I could find it and show everybody. That was weird. Where Dylan just he raised up from being asleep, and these two orbs went like
yeah,
that was weird. But that's what I was wondering. I mean, is it just a UFO coming through our house?
I mean, like,
what if it was spirits? What if it was angels or spirits, or these things we think we're seeing are actually just spirits?
Well, if we're going with Lear's theory that aliens are creators and we're just bottled up souls, then it would be crazy not to think that there would be some sort of correlation between the UFOs and the spirits, right? Like, because that's what they're interested in.
But see, another different way of looking at it. Not to cut you off.
No, please.
But like the UFO I saw, okay, it definitely wasn't an orb. It was a craft.
Right.
Right. So, but it did all these weird things, but it wasn't an orb. But so there may be, it's where it gets really difficult. Is this spirit energy and these UFOs connected somehow?
Because even with the Fukushima thing, it's a natural disaster. Like, there's a lot going on. There's a lot of this crazy energy that's there, added in with nuclear power plants, by the way. No, it's just so insane to think about. And it is, I think that there is something to be said, though, like, about that kind of energy, right, being present, like with Dylan. like him waking up and that coming like that video, I've seen it. I think you sent it to me not too
Yeah.
long ago. I'll try to find it.
If you do find it, and I'll see if I can put a video
Even
to
at your
show.
house
But
with
it's
Kathy Nance, right? She got some orbs.
we cut a couple of orbs in the kitchen. But the ones of Dylan, you could actually, I mean, I videoed because it was Dylan would always do this thing sometimes out of the 2 or 3 in the morning, man. He would just wake up, you know, and you know how people kind of
Yes.
start walking around their sleep or whatever. He raised up, and I was going to video it because I wanted to show it to him the next day. And then at the time when I videoed it, I didn't even see the lights. And then after I went back and watched it, I was like, holy shit. And I think I freeze framed it and showed you the streak of, it was like a greenish light that went through him and then out. I can't remember if there was 1 or 2, but yeah, if you look for that, because that'd be great to show the viewers. And especially if we can pause it right when I can stop it in midair. Because it looks just like some UFO orbs I've seen in the sky.
Well, I am 100% confident in saying, that there's something at play that we absolutely 100% don't understand. And I think Cass would want me to say this, is that like one thing she's learned and really picked up on, I think it's really helped all of us, like as a family, is in the Native culture, you don't need to understand everything.
Yeah.
There's a lot that should be left understood, right? Like, and we don't have to know everything, but there is 100% spirits and energy that you've encountered and I've encountered and Cass has encountered that is like unbelievable. And that's why we started the show. That's what's so cool
there's so many
it.
people that haven't and have doubts. And that's what kind of, like I said, it's comforting to me because I've had these experiences, but because it tells me, okay, there's something else after we pass.
Yes.
That we go to some other, where it's at, I don't know.
I will tell you, when I was talking to Magenta about like, she was saying it felt like something was trying to come into her. Whenever my twin brother died, immediately, it was the craziest thing. I told Cass like weeks later, but immediately it was so nuts. There's probably a door cam of this. I fell, no joke. I felt like something was ripped out of my chest and I fell on the ground. Like I was flat on the fucking ground. My face was on the ground in my front yard. I had grass in my lips and I was like snotty and crying. So I had like grass like all over my face. But it was like, and I told her that later that like, and that feeling really stuck with me. It was like, because I was like, what the fuck? Like I felt somebody else's soul leaving the earth.
Yeah.
Like I couldn't wrap my head around it. And then to have that night, that other feeling where it's like, it was almost like it filled my heart back up. Is that night, it was like somebody was pushing all this. I think we called you pretty immediately. Like we should have this fucking
I remember you.
experience.
Yeah. You were telling me.
I mean, it was, I literally,
because you videoed the last of it.
Yeah. And
where the lights were kind of going off and on.
Because every time I would pull up my phone, or we would start talking business, because that's big in our life. It puts food on the table. It's not because I'm a soulless asshole. Like, and Nate knows that. Like, I do everything for people, right? But when we would like start getting off on a tangent, how much he's impacted like what we do, everything would fucking go back to perfect. The lights would be perfect. Everything. Every time I pull out my phone, nothing would happen. It was almost like saying, "What the hell are you talking about? I'm flashing. I'm doing this shit for you." Like, I'm doing this for you, man. That's taking a lot of energy right now. And it would be like, check us for a second. And then we'd be like, oh my God. And we like notice it. So get back into it. And it would start happening again. But I like literally, and people, I don't care if you judge me, whatever. At one point I was like, I watch a lot of intervention. And I was like, this has to be what people talk about with heroin.
Yeah. Yeah, I remember
like
you guys saying that, the feeling
heroin.
You had afterwards.
It was like I was in an opium den, like in Asia or something. I was like, oh my God, I feel like a light. I'm like, what in the world? I even told Cass, and this was so bad, I said, Nate, don't judge me. I was like, no wonder people become drug addicts. Like, this is like the feeling that, because I couldn't describe it. So that happened to me. I feel like everything was ripped out of my chest, and then to have it pushed back in, and like I say, pushed back in, like it was forced. It wasn't. It was like massaged back in over like literally a 3-hour period. It was such a delicate energy because I was born with Nathan. We had this connection. So I think it was more profound, probably, right? Like, and so it was nuts. But anyways, great show tonight.
Good show. Yeah, we were supposed to go UFO hunting, as some of you who were here last week, but
Cloudy and windy.
it is cloudy and windy. We thought about doing it next Wednesday, but we got like 60% chance of thunderstorms, so we'll just have to find another subject. I mean, I have fun just coming and spending time with you guys, just talking about this stuff.
We're easing back in and just kind of.
And I know a lot of you guys like the true crime thing, but my thing really is I want to know what's on the other side.
Well, we have come so far in our conversations. Like, if you guys are a fan of, because I say this all the time. I think it takes a unique group of people to like follow our show for such a long time. We're talking 3 years. So like, but if you're new to it and this is why you're here is because you love the paranormal and supernatural stuff, go listen to some of our earlier episodes. It's super interesting. We've been doing it for 3 years.
I agree.
Lots of crazy conversations, Keith.
Yeah. So have you heard the Ring camera offer?
What?
The Ring camera offer. If you catch a UFO or an alien on the Ring cam, they will give you $1 million. Look it up. It's for real.
What about ghosts? They should do like.
They didn't say anything about ghosts. They said UFO or like, the advertisement, it shows a.
Yeah, you have, Melinda. Thank you.
Thanks, Melinda. Good night.
Since day one, she says she has, dude. We talk about it all the time in the studio before they go on air. Yeah. We say, Melinda, or ride or die, dude.
Yeah, she keeps the Facebook going.
You're the best. Sure. Thank you.
Thank you, Melinda. We do appreciate it.
Steve, have a good night.
Yeah, thank you.
That's nuts, man. That's crazy.
Yeah. So I mean, but to me, it's like they'll never get. I mean, because let's say it's a UFO in the background, or doubt an alien's ever going to walk up to a door, right? But I mean, how would you prove it? I mean, because they could say, "Oh, well, that was probably a falling star." There's too many things that they could say it's not.
I wish Bugs,
or that it is.
I wish Bugs, the Bigfoot hunter, was still alive. We say, "Hey, Bugs, we need you for about $1 million.
Yeah,
come and catch us an alien."
That's right. Him and Murdaugh go after it.
People still listen to that episode to this day.
It's funny. Yeah, the Bigfoot episode does really well. It's and the Delphi ones, of course, always do good, but the Bigfoot ones, man, it's up there.
Hey, but our live show is gonna sell out.
Oh, it will.
100%.
It will. All right, guys, we will see you next week. Thank you so much for joining in. We love you guys, and I always say peace out.